This is Chapter 7 of Conquest Lunatic, the first real chapter of the route. My Corrin is male here, he's gotten to level 10, and I've been working pretty diligently on getting his sword rank up in the prologue, so he's nearly at C rank already. That Corrin was plus speed minus luck, and then I switched to plus mag minus luck at the using the Branch of Fate feature. I also changed Corrin from female to male, so I was using Jakob earlier, and now I've got level 2 Felicia. So that's pretty much the worst case scenario for the first servant's survivability on this map. But Felicia with C support with Corrin has just barely enough to survive an attack and a dual strike from these enemy faceless. The point of doing that is partly just to get Felicia's shuriken rank boosted quickly. He wants to get C by chapter 12 so that she can start using the flame shuriken when it arrives. That was the one time Elise is ever going to heal. Pretty soon she'll change out of Troubadour. And I want to use Silas's Bronze Lance throughout this map because you get the 1-2 range Lance, Javelin, a lot more quickly than the only 1-2 range physical sword in Conquest. The Kodachi doesn't come until chapter 12 and you only get one, but you can buy a Javelin in the first shop. If Arthur misses that attack, it's really no big deal. Silas can pick up the kill instead, so even though it's a low percent, it just affects the experience distribution. It doesn't change the strategy here. Elise changes into Wyvern Rider now. She actually has weirdly decent physical bases. Like her strength's well behind the other physical units who have just joined on this map. And it'll stay behind. But you can make up for that with Forges after chapter 8. And she's got actually better speed and defense than Silas and Arthur, which is pretty nice. I'm doing a bunch of HP manipulation with Corrin here because I'm setting up to use Silas's Vow of Friendship skill for the second half of this map. Vow of Friendship gives Silas plus 3 damage dealt and minus 3 damage taken as long as Corrin is at less than or equal to half health anywhere on the map. So I'm trying to set up so that I'm giving Silas a bunch of kills or hits with his Bronze Lance early. And then on this next enemy phase, Corrin will get weakened below half health, and Silas will start taking over the main combat duties. I brought not only a Heart Seal, but 2 Bronze Axes here. That way, Arthur's hit rates get patched up too. It's really frustrating for him to be swinging with like 70% or high 60s with his Hand Axe and Iron Axe all the time. I don't attack with Effie here because the enemy faceless, the paired ones have heal speed in addition to the Grizzly Wound that all of them have. So if I attacked now, I would get my speed sealed, and then they would switch. The healthy one would attack Effie and double her, so she would take a lot of damage. Felicia is sitting at 14 HP after getting healed by Elise, so she's still at her base defense stat and HP. This faceless has 19 attacks, so ordinarily it would kill her on one hit, but Elise's Lily's Poise skill reduces damage taken by adjacent units by 3, so Felicia's perfectly fine here. Now if Felicia were not super underleveled, she might have lived to serve at this point. She'd be able to heal herself by healing others anyway. But again, I'm going through basically the worst case scenario. So Silas actually had to hit a speed proc earlier in this map to survive the this next turn, because he just got his speed sealed, and if he didn't gain speed, then the other faceless would start doubling him. And since they also have Poison Strike and things like that, these Western ones do, he would get killed pretty fast. You can get around this also by bringing a speed tonic. and not relying on that 50% growth. But then Arthur does have to hit his attack on his first turn, because you need the action economy to give Silas a turn to use the tonic. So it's a marginal improvement in reliability, but not actually a ton. Felicia gets to this spot here that's behind the woods tile. So she's close to the action, but actually safe from all the enemies once Silas kills this one faceless. Arthur would get killed by the faceless in the east, but that faceless can't reach the woods tile below him. So when Elise moves down and body blocks here, Arthur is safe and Elise can get some more combat in. If he weren't doubled, or if he were doubled, then Silas's dual guard wouldn't exist there, and he would get killed by that second faceless. You can get this kill with either dual strike here. I prefer using Elise, even though it's slightly less accurate, because I'm working on Elise's weapon rank more than everyone else's. Getting Elise out of E and Silas out of E and Lances are basically the two early game priorities in terms of weapon ranks. In this position, Effie might use either unit's dual strike. Doesn't really matter which. It won't affect what we do next turn. Felicia at base strength and Silas at base strength had just barely enough damage together to get that kill for Felicia with an attack stance. I think is really neat. Like, pretty sure the developers actually put some thought into how you could clear this map with a very bad first servant.
Yes.
Arthur misses dual strike there. It doesn't matter. Well, matters slightly for reliability, I guess. But once Effie joins with Arthur here, Arthur will have just enough strength to make this attack work. So Elise will get the kill, and Arthur will make up for the experience he just missed, because on a killing blow you get extra experience for your dual strikes. Elise reaches level 6 in her join chapter and gains strength +2. So now, yeah, she's still behind the others in terms of damage, but she's suddenly like a lot more competitive after just one level. For the same reason that Effie waited before, Arthur's just going to wait here, and we'll take care of this faceless after it attacks us once. I want to stay out of the boss's range on this turn. The boss has 26 attack, and Corrin has 14 defense, so he would do 6 on a dual strike, and the other faceless has 19 attacks, so he would do 5. So together they would do 11, but I'm going to park Corrin on this woods tile, reducing damage by 1 from each of them. So he will take 4 plus 5, and he's at 10 HP, so he's fine. Effie finishes off this one last faceless, and it's just barely enough XP to get her level as well. So actually, everyone but Corrin has leveled up on this map. And Corrin's well ahead of the level curve, being at level 10 already. So he doesn't mind so much. I set up here for Felicia to chip the boss using Corrin's dual strike. Unfortunately for me, player crit really sucks, and Corrin gets a crit here. So I would normally fly Arthur down, weaken the boss with Arthur's attack, and then get the kill with Silas. But instead, I have to just get the kill with Silas. I actually wish that most of the early game weapons had the bronze effect. No crits, no proc skills. It would make things so much more reliable. So this is a bit slower than a typical LTC run, but the point is, number one, you're giving levels to everyone, and number two, you are filling out a whole bunch of supports. So Corrin gets B with Felicia and C with Silas, and Elise, Arthur, and Effie all get C with each other. Which, when you're using Wyvern Elise, is actually really nice. Normally, Elise has no use for support with a fighter or a knight, but when she's in Wyvern, she appreciates their boosts and they like hers in return.